All right, so this is the final video in my studio reassemble series. So very happy to be up and running again. I think for the most part, everything is pretty good. There's going to be, some workflow bugs every single time you set up a studio. You kind of got to adjust things as you go along. Again, let's just do a quick recap. So the biggest thing for me was setting up these 3 monitors with the monitor arms. That was really important just for that workflow. So I can get all those tables off of the desk, just a much cleaner look. I also fixed my keyboard tray here. So I made it so that it's actually flat. And then underneath, you can see just that little piece of wood. So that's giving this just a little bit of slope. And actually, if I need more slope, in behind here, I have this piece of wood here that I actually cut on an angle. And that would allow me to put it in behind to even get more slope if I want to, because when a keyboard is so flat, right? If it's really flat, one, you can't see the screen very good. And then it's also just kind of hard on like your hands. If it's a little bit of an angle, it's a little bit more natural on your hands, I feel. So I just did a bunch of little bonus videos there talking about, how to buy headphones as a producer, close back, open back, talked about these earbuds. So these are my cheap earbuds, which I really like. These are my really expensive earbuds, which are nice, but pretty expensive for what they are. Set up my speakers. Again, not high, not very expensive stuff in my studio, but it works, right? And that's what you need as a beat maker. What works for workflow to give you the results you're looking for. And then once you're set up, well, then maybe you can get maybe a higher end audio interface, higher end speakers. But one thing to mention is just my acoustic treatment. And if you guys have been following me, this is Beat Struggles from way back in the day, my old website there. And so, my acoustic treatment, that's one thing that I would look into. So if you ever do build acoustic treatment, just make sure it is thicker, but you want to make sure it's like at least 2 inches, even more. You want to make it thick. And it's always nice to have like an air gap. So you can see I don't have an air gap. So a lot of this stuff was kind of built as I was, building my, learning all this stuff at the beginning. Because when it comes to sound treatment in the room, the most important thing is the low end, right? And when we are in our bedroom studios, like you see right here, bass frequencies get trapped very, they build up a lot. So it's all about really controlling that low end in the room. And so, I just have like a little cloud here. This one's nice. I got a little air gap up there. But again, not thick enough, right? So if I were to do this again, just making sure I'm using, much thicker, and then because thicker means better, more insulation. And then again, you also want that air gap. So there's, in a home studio, bedroom studio, it's kind of tricky because the room is typically already small. And then you go and you add this acoustic treatment on the walls, and it really makes things tighter. I will save that maybe for another video about acoustic treatment. I'm not an expert in that stuff at all. That stuff, there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of science, a lot of math in acoustic treatment, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. Okay, so just remember one thing with acoustic treatment, it is really all about controlling that low end. Once you control that low end, then you can look into more like the mids and the highs. But anyway, so yeah, got my speakers set up, my monitor set up, got my speakers set up, got my microphone set up, cameras. I think I'm back into training here. So be on the lookout. Just the new website revamp is now launched. Again, when I was evacuated in the fires, kind of slowed things down. But if you guys are a member of the platform, I hope you guys continue to get a really good experience. And if you have questions, again, I have my questions area there. All you have to do is just ask a question and I try to respond back to you. Hopefully in the future here, I'll be coming out with a computer build. My goal is that I'm actually holding off because of Windows 11. I don't want to upgrade to Windows 11. I feel it's kind of like Windows 8. So Windows 12 is coming soon. So I'm hoping to build a computer for Windows 12 so I can, get the best experience. And for me, whenever I purchase a new computer, I like to install Windows fresh, because what happens is I've had this for like 7-8 years now. You install a lot of software, you uninstall software, a lot of things get added onto your computer, and things, even if you delete programs, a lot of stuff is left behind. So it's nice to just start fresh when you get a new computer, because Windows is going to be super snappy. Everything's going to be really fast. Another thing also to mention with computers, when you are buying a music production computer, is it really is all about timing. So you want to make sure that you're buying a computer at the right time, because what happens is there's different technologies that come out, different generations, all this kind of stuff. Sometimes if you purchase something brand new, you're like the guinea pig. You're the one that's testing that product and all like the bugs that have to be worked out. But what I'm trying to say is you want to purchase the very last model of that generation for the most part, because all the bugs have been worked out, and then you just get a decent computer. And the goal is you want a computer that lasts you for a long time. You don't want to have to upgrade all the time. So that's why it's important for a music production computer that you do purchase a high quality one, because it's going to last you for quite a while. Again, this one has lasted me 7 or 8 years, and it's still handling what I'm throwing at it, no problem. Computers nowadays are very, very powerful. So again, just stay on the email list, reach out if you have questions. I can create videos to now answer your questions about music production for you guys to save money, or at least, purchase quality parts for your money so that you get a good experience. So again, I use FL Studio. I use a MIDI keyboard, virtual instruments, one-shot drum samples, and I'm all about, creating custom beats. I'm not into pre-made loops or construction kits or MIDI packs or anything like that. I like doing things from scratch. I find that's the most enjoyable. I worked really hard to learn all that stuff. And that's it. So Studio, I think, is good to go. Very, very simple layout for the most part. Don't think you need all this equipment. It has taken me many, many years to save up to purchase this stuff, and as well as the workflow, right? Learning the workflow, money can't buy workflow. You have to learn workflow. And what I'm passing on to you guys, pick up what you want, but I think I make beats pretty fast. And this is my workflow for that fast workflow, right? 49 keys, got my transport buttons, audio interface, again, slider, push it in, got my keys, got my mouse. If you see this is only for video editing. I don't really like to get things like this to customize, because when I teach, I don't want to have something that you don't have. I like to have what you have so that it's not like things are confusing in the trainings. Again, I use this Oxygen Pro, and sometimes I use my drum pads to do things a little bit quicker, but I explain things what I'm doing. One really, really cool feature of the drum pads with the Oxygen Pro with my premium template is when I hit a button and I open up plugins. So I open up an EQ and a compressor, I can start mixing right away. So again, it's just all about workflow. But again, if you guys got questions, feel free to find me at itsgratuitous.com. I have tons and tons and tons of beat making training. There's over 34 beat making courses based on FL Studio. Again, if you want to learn the piano as a producer, I really want to share this one with you. If you haven't seen the book yet, it is called Safe Spots. It's all about creating drum loops in FL Studio, or just drum loops as a beat maker, but it is based on FL Studio. Thick book. There's a course, as well as you want to get the drum bundle trio sounds. If you're brand new to making beats, check out my FL Studio beginners book. Again, that's also a pretty thick book. It is based on FL Studio 20, but I tried to write the book so it's evergreen, which means that if you read it today or read it in 5 years, the information for the most part is going to be pretty relevant, because it's about workflow. Have one here about just learning about how to set up a good template, because templates are really important for workflow. And then if you're brand new, this is just going to prepare your mind to become a producer, right? You just got to be careful out there. Being a music producer, it's fun. There's a lot of stuff, but it's a very interesting industry. Like you're essentially marketing yourself. And if you don't know about sales and stuff, like that's the industry you're entering. So proper producer mindset is just kind of slowing you down a little bit, preparing yourself. Like, for example, do you have a producer name yet? Well, if you do, it's like you want to stick to that one producer name. Like that's your brand. Do you have a logo for your producer name, right? Stuff like that, right? Just kind of stuff that if you're new to business, online business, there's some information for you. So thank you for watching the Studio Reassemble series. If you guys are a member, always feel free to use the questions area. Hopefully I can be back up and running and creating kind of quicker courses here about making beats, workflow, and for you guys just to enjoy what you're doing. So, because, music production is complicated. It is not simple. You open up that music program. What happens is it's very overwhelming, but what happens is you learn the music program, but then you don't learn to make beats really good, right? Learning to make beats and learning the music program are two very different things. A lot of people, they learn the music program, they learn all the keyboard shortcuts, and they think they know, how to use FL Studio, and that's fine. That's just using a music program. It's no different than any other music program. But you want to learn to make beats. And so even today, I practice the piano upstairs. So on a real piano, I practice the piano almost every single day still, because to become a good producer, it's about training yourself for catchy melodies. When you use the music program, that is just an extension of making beats. All right. So visit me over at itsgratuitous.com. Tons of stuff waiting there for you. And I'll talk to you in another video. If you're wanting to learn FL Studio, check out the 3 exclusive videos I have for you. You can get them by going to itsgratuitous.com/FL Studio. I hope to see you inside.